Hello everybody, Raven Knight here, and it's that time again. It's time to take a look at some executions. Now, for those of you who don't know what's going on, I'll explain briefly. This year, For Honor has done something a little different. Each season, they are releasing 4 unique executions for 4 heroes for their Hero Fest, which is kind of this event where they kind of pay honor to a specific hero from the roster, give them a new unique execution, give them some cool symbols, and put them on a discount to be given. I think it's a good idea. I think it's a good way to sort of show off some heroes from the roster that some people might not know about or might not care about, and give them a reason to play them and buy them and use their execution. So I do think it's a good idea. And so as the new executions were coming out, people were asking me to rate or grade or take a look at these executions. And at first I was going to, but then I thought, nah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for the season to end so that all 4 Hero Fests can pass, and then I can take a look at all 4 new executions in one video. And that's what I did last season. Last season it was Aramusha, Zhongjun, Jormungandr, and Black Prior. And it went over very well, I feel like. This season we have Centurion, Shaman, Hitakiri, and Tanhu. So I am very, very excited to take a look at these executions. But before we get started, I do want to make one thing very, very clear. I want to make this clear so that everyone knows. Okay, you listening? This is important. Okay, you listening? All right. This is not an executions graded video. I am not here to grade these executions. For those of you who are not aware by now, I make a series called For Honor Executions Graded, where I am slowly going through each For Honor hero and giving each of their executions a grade based on a rubric that I've created. I don't want to take a look at these and grade them right now. I would rather add these executions to the dedicated videos to these heroes. For example, Centurion here, I'm going to take this brand new execution he has and add it to the executions graded video and get myself a full grade from that. So for this video, all I'm doing with his execution is I'm just looking at it and telling you my thoughts on it and kind of gushing on it a little bit so that you can get an idea of what I think about it. Now, when I do grade it, obviously a lot of what I say here will come up there as well. But I just want to let you guys know that I have been looking at these executions. I do have thoughts on them, and I want to tell you what I think is good or bad about them. All right? So I'll repeat. This is not an execution graded video. I will give them sort of a rating. I will kind of say like this is a 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10, something like that. But I'm not going to grade it according to my rubric for this video. I'm going to save that for when I actually get to that Heroes dedicated video. That makes sense? Awesome. As long as we got that down, we're good to go. So with that all out of the way, let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start things off with Centurion. All right, we're starting things off with the Theides of March.
And in the honor of Stilicho, Aetius, Majorian, and so many more, let him see the casualties.
Absolutely beautiful. Now the name is unique. I love the name. The Ides of March. That means the 15th of March. Why is that special? Because in Roman history, on the Ides of March, that was when Julius Caesar was betrayed and assassinated. So this name has a lot of meaning. I really like it. I just wish that this execution came out on the Ides of March. That would have actually been really cool, but that doesn't matter. All right, so let's actually talk about this execution. Let me just start by saying how absolutely Chad this moment is. I got serious Dovahotty vibes watching this. If you don't know who Dovahotty is, he makes a series on YouTube. Oh, well, he made the series on YouTube. He's done with it now. called Unbiased Look at Roman History. It's really funny, but actually historically accurate in a lot of places. And when I see this execution, I just think about Nova Hadi. I think about all that he says about Rome and how he would just gush over this execution. It looks awesome. I love everything about it. So starting off, he slashes across the leg to bring them to their knee. Flips the gladius over in his hand and then stabs downward through the collarbone. And if you look at the depth of the gladius when he stabs downward, that's going to be definitely cutting into the spine. That's going to be cutting into the spine. But as far as organs, that is going far enough down to hit the heart. If it was a little bit left or right, it might hit a lung. This person's dead. This person was 100% dead. This is efficient. This is lethal. This is amazing to watch. It looks so badass. It's so dominating. It doesn't have to be super flashy. It doesn't have to show off too much. It's just, I'm going to take you to the ground, and then I'm going to plunge this thing into your shoulder blade, down into your heart. You're done. I love this execution. If I would give it a 10 out of 10. This is easily one of my favorite executions of Centurion. It is phenomenal. And what's so great about it is the simplicity of it. It doesn't have to be fancy. Like I said, it can look very basic, but it's still awesome. I want Warden to say, "Et tu, Brute," when he gets struck, which means "you too, Brutus," which is from the actual play Julius Caesar. I'm a Shakespearean guy. I like Shakespeare. Okay, I know Julius Caesar. But yes, this one is phenomenal. 10 out of 10. No doubt about it. Great job, Centurion. I love this execution. Next up is Fatal Diversion for Hitakiri. One more time. Oh, I love it. Hitakiri has such brutal executions. I love them. Now, here's the cool thing I like about this execution. It incorporates some of Hitakiri's moveset into her attack. You notice that she did that kick near the end there after the second swing. Hitakiri's known for doing those kicks that set up for a free heavy, right? So definitely like that. All right, so let's break down the movement here. So when Hitakiri gets started, it's a very strong overhead swing, but she has to do a wind up at it. As she does the wind up, she then has to stop and then bring that momentum down the other direction, which takes a moment. I like the pause there, but then when it's setting up for the third strike, she stops the axe mid-motion. That requires a lot of upper body strength to stop that mid-motion, but she didn't have to. What she did was, as she brought the axe around for the third swing, she then used that momentum to allow herself to do a kick. As her body was spinning from the second strike, so her second strike is going down, her body is spinning with it. She then allows herself to use that momentum to kick into Warden's head, and then follows that up with a back swing into his head from the other direction. And then the other thing I like about this execution, want to know the best thing about this execution? It would have been so easy for Hitakiri to just take off his head here. Wouldn't it have been just so easy for Honor to say, okay, took off the head right there, he's done, his head is gone, and they'd say, well, it's a beheading tool, but they didn't. Instead, the axe embeds itself into the side of the head. I think that was perfectly fine and believable. I could believe this. Nothing about this screams, oh, too unrealistic. I can't see this happening. It feels very real to me. The speed at which the axe moves, the use of momentum to keep the axe going, the momentum in the kick, it all looks phenomenal. Now, the question, of course, is, could it kill? Yes, actually. If an axe head is buried that deep into the face, it's going to cut open the jaw. And if it were just a little higher, it'd cut into the brain matter. So I think this will most likely kill. I do think that this would most likely kill. Although, and to be fair, I do think it might be a little low. I think the axe might just be a little low. Now, if it were a little higher, no question, it's deathly. But if it's too low and all it does is sever half the jaw, it might not be a surefire kill. Oh, trust me, they're never going to eat well again, and they probably would die from massive blood loss since head injuries bleed a lot more than most injuries. But as far as brain damage, yeah, probably not going to get a whole lot of that. It just looks a little too low for that. But still, phenomenal work. I would give this a 9 out of 10 just because of that quality at the very end, but I still love this one. As far as executions go for Hitakiri, it feels domineering, it feels powerful, it feels fluid, it's showing a lot of technique, which I gotta give credit for. Hitakiri comes off as one of these characters that doesn't need technique. Just swing that thing for all it's worth and take a head off. But no, there's technique, there's finesse, showing a bit of that samurai style, you know? That's a big difference that I see between someone like Raider and someone like Hitakiri, you know? Raider is a big, powerful brute who just needs a lot of awesome muscle and strength to do his deed, whereas Hitakiri, yeah, she's got some of that muscle, but she also has finesse and style to make up for what she lacks. No dissing on Raider here, I love Raider, but there's a difference. People were just saying, you know, Hitakiri's just a samurai raider. No, she's not, and I think this shows why. Love this execution, guys. This one's awesome. Great job, Hitakiri. I love it. Next up is the Creature Within for Sanhu.
In their tongue, he is Dovahkiin, Dragonborn.
Okay, I do love this execution. It's funny to me. Okay, obviously it's not realistic. Obviously. Like, this is on the realm of, like, when Jormungandr does their execution where it's like a, like kind of that strength testing thing, like where you hit the thing and then the electric pulse goes up to the head. This one is just, she literally summons a dragon head onto her hand and then breathes blue smoke and purple smoke into his face. Okay, so let's talk about this. So Sanhu places the blade up to Warden's neck and holds it there. Then with her free hand summons up this dragon head, shoves it in his face and has it breathe blue smoke, purple smoke into his face. I kind of wish it could have been fire. I wish it would have been fire. Like, just burn his head. Like, breathe fire into his face, not lightning and smoke. Because then that would have been even cooler. And then after she fulfills that duty, she then uses her one hand to take off the head. All right, so I do not think that you could cut off a head with one-handed like that. I just don't see that working, especially since there's no wind-up and the sword is right up next to the neck. But at the same time, am I really going to complain about the believability of taking off a head one-handed when Sanhu literally just summoned a dragon onto her hand? Oh, boy. I would give this one, honestly, a 6 or 7 out of 10. Honestly, it should be lower than that. And when I grade, it will probably be lower than that. But honestly, I just love dragons. I love how cool that looked. I loved how if it just had flames coming out of it, I would just say, nope, 10 out of 10. Love it too much. It's awesome. It's awesome. But I don't know. The lightning and smoke doesn't make it look like anything's happening. It just makes it look like a dragon is roaring in his face. And that's not nearly as cool as like if it were just breathing fire in his face. I don't know. I feel like this could have been a lot better. I feel like this could have been way more than it was. But for what it was, it indicates something pretty neat. I'm glad that they're being creative here. It's fantastical. It's not in any way realistic, but I still like it. So yeah, probably a 6 out of 10 or something like that. Now, granted, again, like I said, this is not a graded video. When I actually do Sanhu's graded video, believe me, this is going to lose points for realism in a big way. But for now, like I said, I'm just looking at the executions and telling you my thoughts and just discussing what I feel about them. I do like it. It is cool. Let me put it this way. I like this one more than Black Prior's execution last season, which I thought was incredibly stupid. I think with Black Prior's, it was like they just threw their shield in through the neck and it just sat there. I'll take a dragon breathing smoke in my face over the shield going through the neck. This is better than that, okay? While it may be unbelievable and a little goofy, I'll take it every day over that weird shield thing. Anyway, cool one, Sanhu. Definitely one that I like. Just, you're not winning any points for realism here. But then again, I don't think that was your concern, was it? Next up is Bloody Appetite for Shaman.
No, let me explain. No, you don't understand. No, I didn't mean... No!
Okay, that's terrifying. That is absolutely terrifying, and I love it. Oh, man. Okay, you know what? Here's the thing about Shaman. If you want to make me like a Shaman execution, don't half-ass it, okay? You better really go all out with Shaman, okay? I love it. I love Alpha Blot. I love, Incorrigible. I love Really Get In There. I love those executions where Shaman just goes crazy, and this is one of them. Everything from the beginning to the end is hysterical. It starts with Shaman kind of barking, like kind of biting at this guy like a rabid animal, just just kind of this, like I'm gonna get you. And, the opponent's kind of like, no, back off, and then accidentally swings a punch at Shaman, which connects. Shaman just stares from him and like, did you really? But what gets me is their reaction, like, no, please, it was an accident. It was an accident, man. Don't do nothing crazy. But you forgot who you're talking to. This is Shaman. Crazy is her middle name. She takes her hatchet, strikes up into the chin, knocking their head up, and then stabs with her dagger into the midsection. Now, alone, that strike might not be deadly, at least not immediately deadly. It would take time for that to bleed out and kill, because it's right in the midsection. There's you probably wouldn't hit anything too vital that you couldn't live for at least a little while. But then, while holding him in place with that dagger in his gut, she then gives him the ultimate hickey. She goes full vampire on this guy, goes full zombie, and rips out the side of his neck with her teeth, like at least 5 or 6 bites into his neck, ripping out his jugular, ripping out his flesh. She earned the nickname Nibbles. For those of you who don't know, my shaman's name is Nibbles. So I must say, this execution is very much a nibble. I would have called this execution, oh my gosh, it's called Bloody Appetite. I would have called it Nibbles, okay? I just would have called it a nibble. Because that's what she does. She basically nibbles into his neck, and then she spits it out back at him. She spits the blood back out in his face while he's lying there dead. But here's the best part, guys. Here's the part you might not realize. He's still alive. You realize that, right? I mean, he won't be for much longer. In a few seconds, he's going to go into shock, bleed out. He's going to pass out from blood loss, and then he's going to die in a pool of his own blood. But while he's lying there, while he is dealing with this, she is ripping out his neck. And he's laying there with this mad woman, spraying blood in his face. This is 10 out of 10. This is one of my favorite shaman executions, if not my favorite. It is hysterical to watch. It is so cool. It is so badass. Thank you, Nibbles. This is probably my favorite shaman execution. Everything about it is top tier. Now, it's not efficient, and that it will lose points for efficiency when we get to the grading of Shaman, but God, this isn't so funny if it isn't so scary. Right before the Halloween season, too. We're coming up on October, guys. This could be a zombie moment right here, or a vampire moment. This is so good. I just... From beginning to end, it is hysterical. I love it. I love this execution. Thank you so much, Nibbles, for giving me something to laugh at. This is awesome. And that about does it, guys. We looked at all 4 executions. So, final thoughts? I liked all of them. I really enjoyed all of them. You know, with Medjai coming out, I started to lose interest in a lot of the other heroes because I was spending so much time with Medjai and just playing his character. I'm so glad that I get to come back and take a look at some of these other characters and appreciate who they are, appreciate what they give to the game. It feels good to get back into form. I loved Centurion's execution. Like I said, top tier Chad move. I loved Hitakiri's execution. Very stylish, very beautiful, very deadly. I loved Sanhu's. I know it's not realistic, but it was still really cool to watch. And need I say more about Nibbles? Gosh, all of that was just so awesome. All I gotta say is, For Honor, if you keep releasing really good executions like this, I would be awesome. What I want For Honor to do, genuinely, and I'll make a video or some kind of announcement about this, but what I really want For Honor to do next year. I'm pretty sure that the next 2 seasons are spoken for, but I'd really like them to do next year. Instead of focusing on new heroes and stuff like that, I really want them to focus on new maps, new executions, new lore, like stuff like that. I'd like them to expand the world a little bit and less character. So give us a little more world, a little less character. Like we can play with what we've got for now. Let us enjoy the characters we have. Focus on building the world and adding to this wonderful group of executions. What this proves to me is that they can still be creative. And I said this before, guys. One thing that I look for a lot in executions is personality. I really do kind of want to see the personality of the characters come out. And here, I definitely saw it in all the heroes that I watched. Like, all of them really showed their personality. Nibbles and Centurion especially. So, top tier executions, guys. All of these are awesome. If you have not picked up at least one of these executions, I highly recommend getting Centurions or Shamans first. Those are amazing. And as of the making of this video, the Shaman Hero Fest is ongoing, so pick up Shaman if you haven't yet and have fun with one of the craziest assassins in the game. I love my Nibbles. I think she's awesome. I need to hurry up and do my Legends video on her, don't I? Anyway, guys, thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, I will see you in my next video. Take care.